What's going on, brother? 2 episodes in one fucking day. There, now you have something to promote. Anyways, yeah. Whoops. Fucking monitor fell out. Where's my monitor? Yeah. Technical glitches. Glitches are for bitches. Anyways, yep. 2 episodes in one day. Give you something to promote. Take some of the pressure off me. I actually feel better today than I did normally. And so let's just try to maximize my efforts, our efforts. All right. Anyways, okay. Fuck my voice. Okay. Ready, set, go. Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Raw and Unscripted with yours truly, Christopher Rausch, the place where I help you overcome your self-created crap without the self-help fluffy bullshit. And on today's episode, we are episode number 27, and it's an exciting topic today. It builds on, again, last week's episode, which builds on the previous week's episode, all tied into how I work with people and how I rebuild your core foundational beliefs in order for you to have kick-ass, unstoppable success. So today we're talking about purpose, right? What is your purpose? My purpose here today is to enlighten you, is to inspire you, is to motivate you, is to get you to think differently about your past, present, and future. So that by the end of our time together, which is going to be short, 20, 30 minutes, that at least you have some sort of thought in your mind that says, hey, what can I do differently to find my purpose? What can I do differently to stay consistent with my purpose, right? So that is my purpose here today. So I've got it solidified in my brain. It's in my heart. So let's see what comes out of my mouth. At any rate, our purpose really, when you think about it, it's our headstone. What is your headstone going to say when you die? Now, in the previous podcast, we talked about legacy and we talked about eulogy, which is a little bit different, but what is your purpose every day in life? When you wake up, do you know what your purpose is? Again, we've talked about it. Surviving or thriving. Is your purpose just to get through the day? Is your purpose just to not shoot anybody or kill anybody or go off on anybody? Is your purpose today something that excites you? Is your purpose today something that will build on your legacy? That's really important thing, is because so many people have the purpose right now of just surviving or existing or playing the someday game. But my goal here today, and again, my purpose is that I get you to think a little bit differently about that so that you can begin establishing your own routines to find your purpose. Now, that's one of the biggest questions that I get is, Chris, I don't know what my purpose is. And that is very, very common, and it's very understandable because we're not taught how to find our purpose, right? When you think about it, and I want you to go back to your childhood, what were some of the careers that excited you? Did you want to be an astronaut, a fireman, a nurse, a singer, a ballerina, a construction worker, a dancer? What was it when you were a kid that you dreamed about being? That's a first key in what your purpose is, because listen, as we get older, we get these filters and we get these judgments and we get these fears. Oh, that's stupid. Don't do that. And we just lock them away. But really, when we're kids, that's when we're the most excited. That's when we're the most curious about things. And obviously we don't have the sensors and the beliefs that limit us from achieving those. So we're like, I'm going to be an astronaut. I'm going to fly to the moon. I'm going to become a race car driver. For me, it was race cars, music, a magician. What else was it? Really, race cars and music have always been my passion. And truth be told, years and years ago, I decided, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to take singing lessons. I've taken guitar lessons and I'm not very good at guitar. I have actually broken metacarpals in my left hand. So doing the fingering is very challenging for me. So once upon a time, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to make my dream come true. And this is before I got into speaking and coaching as a business, as a lifestyle. And truth be told, I signed up for singing classes and I took singing classes for 2 years. But that was after I had already tried to become a singer and for a band. But at any rate, for you, what is your purpose, right? And one of the questions that I can give to you right now is simply, what pisses you off? Aside from the fact of what it is that you were a kid, and I want you to think about that. But a lot of times I get to people and I figure out what their purpose is by just asking them what pisses you off. Now, most people have no problem telling you what pisses them off. Oh, drivers and people that don't treat their kids right, and the school system and the political system and, the grocery market and all the stuff and blah, blah, blah. The list goes on and on and on. And usually I have to shut them up So for you, if you don't know what your purpose is, simply just write down the things that irritate you and piss you off, and then tie that in to what you want on your headstone. What value, what contribution do you want your time here on earth to be, right? I think about it. And for me, I got into speaking and mentoring kids because my purpose at that point was to give kids confidence in the belief that no matter what they were going through, that they had the ability to overcome whatever their parents and their teachers and society and all the other people that are filling their heads full of bullshit, give them a different way to believe and to think. And one of the greatest opportunities in my life to do that was when I got to go back to my junior high, Brookhurst Junior High in Anaheim, California, and I got to speak to the 7th and 8th grade class. You want to talk about purpose? That was a lifetime going in circles and coming back to the spot that it all started. Because I had to drop out in the 7th grade when we became homeless back in May 10th, 1982, to be exact. And I had to drop out the middle part of 7th grade, and to go back there, to be invited to go back there and speak to the 7th and 8th grade class was a dream. It's actually a video on my YouTube if you want to go check it out. It's something about speaking to Brookhurst Junior High. I'm wearing a blazer and a KISS shirt, and it was fun. But anyway, thinking about what it is that I wanted to do, I wanted to impact these kids, but then it grew. So my purpose for impacting these kids and giving them a belief grew to helping adults and helping everybody, so that my time here, when I'm gone, my son, my family, you guys can look back on my existence and say, fuck, man, he really gave me purpose. He gave me drive. He gave me mindset mastery. He stopped me from giving myself excuses. He started me on a path of really fulfilling my dreams and living versus existing. That's my purpose. You can tell I'm excited about it. Another thing to look at for you to find your purpose is, what can you do for hours on end that you just don't realize the time goes by? Now, for me, it's talking. If somebody asks me, hey, Chris, can you give me some advice? I can talk forever. If I'm exhausted, tired, if I have other things to do, I love helping people. I love seeing that light bulb go on where they go, oh, you're right. I never looked at it that way. That's one of the greatest presents somebody can give me, is when they really get it and they say, wow, I never really thought of it that way, Chris. Thank you so much. I have a new perspective on things. That is my purpose, is to change your perspective, change your opinions and everything about your past, present, and your future, so that you can live a truly unstoppable, kick-ass life. So when you sit there and you think about that, what is it that you can do for hours on end? And you could actually say, well, I could watch TV for hours on end. But what is that going to do? Well, you could become a TV critic. You could become a movie reviewer. God's honest truth. I was just listening to a podcast the other day, and they said, and I haven't confirmed this, but they said one of the top 10 podcasts, or two of the top 10 podcasts, apparently at the time that the show was on, was something called the Gilmore Boys, which is actually, if you know about the Gilmore Girls, it was a television show, I guess. I never watched it, but they're two guys talking about the TV show, the Gilmore Girls. That's a top rated podcast. Two guys talking about the episodes of the Gilmore Girls. Another one, and I can't remember exactly the name of it, but it's these girls that are comedians, and they talk about the guys I fucked or something like that. It was something really stupid. Harry Potter, there's podcasts about Harry Potter. Whatever your passion is, whatever really lights you up in life, get creative, get resourceful, and think about, how can I take that energy and that passion and that ability to do that for hours on end and not get bored and not get tired? What is that for me? And don't close yourself off and say, oh, well, this is stupid or that's stupid. There's so many different ways and avenues to go about it. My friend, who is an author, was just telling me the other day that his friend takes, I think it was Stephen King. He takes all of his movies, or he takes a group of movies, he reviews them, he analyzes them, and he writes books, and he gets paid very well for just simply watching the movies and writing his perspective about that for people who are collectors and fans of Stephen King. So again, you have to use your creativity, because there is a niche for everybody. Obviously, just look at it. I mean, it's crazy. If you like basket weaving underwater, then go for that. The point is, don't sit there and live inside this box that everybody wants you to live in, that your parents and your teachers told you, like, oh, you should become a lawyer like your dad, or you should get into the family plumbing business. You should become a doctor because you're smart, or you should become this. That's stupid. Right in your heart and your soul, that's where your passion, that's where your purpose lies. And you have to get in touch with that. Just like an innocent little kid, you have to say, man, what really fires me up? What do I want on my tombstone? What do I want people to remember me by? Again, going back to the things that pisses you off, what can you do? What can you do to change that? For me, it pisses me off that kids go to school and they learn about reading and arithmetic and the isosceles triangle and all this other shit, but they don't learn how to have conversations. They don't learn how to manage their time. They don't learn about money. They don't learn about relationships. So my passion, one of my purposes, is that eventually I want to open up little small schools that work in conjunction with elementary schools, but they give these kids life skills, or they give junior high kids life skills, or high school kids life skills, because that is sorely missing right now, especially in the age of social media. So that's one of my purposes in life, is to help these people develop those skills. So when you have purpose, you have energy, you have enthusiasm, you get up every day and you're excited. Now let me ask you, when you wake up, say for the last couple of weeks, have you been excited about what you're doing? Have you been looking forward to where you're going and the contributions you're making, or are you just trying to get by? And I know, trust me, believe me, I've been there and I do that too, right? But I'm still working in conjunction with making my passions and my purposes come true, because I'm here talking to you. I'm here in my studio filming and recording this podcast for you because I care. That lights me up. That fires me up every day. Yes, I have to do things that I don't particularly care for and go into situations that aren't fun, and to make money and to do these things. But coincidentally, or at the same time, brain's not working, I am pursuing my purpose and my passion. So I am excited about those things. So I'm in here recording these shows and I've got a lot of stuff going on. I've got my group coaching that's launched. If you're interested, hit me up. So, you got to really think about that. And, what's missing and what's needed in the world. When you think about somebody who has purpose, right? And I want you to do this. This is an exercise. Write down 4 or 5 people that you admire and you respect. Now, it doesn't have to be people that you necessarily know. It could be heroes. And for me, I sat there and I thought about Martin Luther King. I thought about Thomas Edison. I thought about Michael Jordan. Thought about Walt Disney. What are their purpose? What was their purpose? Walt Disney was to create an animated world and create Disneyland. And he got shot down multiple times, but guess what? It exists, right? Michael Jordan, he was a crappy basketball player, but he committed himself because he knew his purpose was to play basketball. And he became one of the greatest basketball players ever because he knew his purpose and he didn't give up and he stayed consistent and he constantly pushed himself. We were just talking in the last episode last week, mindset mastery, right? Can you imagine how boring that must be to sit there and do free throws for 2-3 hours every single day? For me, that's not my purpose. I would go fucking crazy. My purpose would be to can I throw the basketball hard enough to break the backboard? That would be my purpose. But Michael Jordan was like, I want to be better. And you think about these people, you think about the ballerinas, you think about Michael Phelps. What did he want to do? His purpose was to become a swimmer. Became a fucking fast ass swimmer and he smoked weed. Go Michael Phelps. So what is your purpose? Think about that. I think about Mother Teresa. Maybe she didn't know her purpose, but she knew in her heart she wanted to help people and she didn't want recognition for it. She had a purpose. And I'm not saying we all have to become Michael Jordan or Mother Teresa or anything like that, but take your passions and take your skills and take your energy and invest that into something that's going to grow. Maybe it's going to grow little by little, but eventually time is going to go by and you will reach your destination if you stay consistent and you stay congruent. Now, knowing your passion and your purpose, you can't be incongruent. You can't say that, kids should have more life skills, but then sit your kid in front of the television for 5 hours because it's the easiest thing for you to do, right? Following your passion and your purpose takes commitment. It takes consistency. It takes investment. It takes sacrifice. But again, what do we want to do? We want the short-term gratification instead of the long-term result. We want the result, but we don't want the hard work. And that's what sucks. Like I've talked about before, the 75 hard. It's not something that I look forward to doing, but I tell you what, I sure do like the results. And I like how it's impacting you guys just from watching it. I had my good friend today, my accountability partner. She's like, Chris, I have seen such a transformation in you. And I'm only on day 47, right? And I think it builds a little bit stronger each day you go, because each day I go, I'm like, well, I've already gone this far. I can give up. Not necessarily give up, but I've already proved a point, right? It's that negative self-talk in my brain saying, come on, Chris, go for a cheeseburger, go for a French fries. And I've had lettuce wraps with sweet potato fries. But my point is, she said, I watched you and I'm thinking about doing that. And God's honest truth, I went on Instagram and I just typed in 75 hard, the hashtag 75 hard. And I started looking at other people's stories and seeing the results and seeing the confidence and seeing really just the like, holy shit, I didn't know I could do this, right? They knew their purpose. They got to a point where the pain of staying the same outweighed the comfort of continuing to do what they were doing. And that's my job here, is to cause pain for you guys, right? I think in the last episode, I talked about going to a assisted living facility or a convalescent hospital, someplace where the elderly go. My mom was in them for a couple of years. My grandmother was in them. I challenge you. I challenge you right now. I'll give you an hour of free coaching. If you go do that, if you go inside an assisted living facility and you spend 10, 15 minutes walking around, pretend you're looking for somebody, or just go in there and just say, hey, listen, is it okay if I talk to a couple of patients here? I'm doing a study project for school and I really want to find out if they have any regrets in life or something like that. Because I promise you, even if you just walk up and down the halls for 5 minutes until you get kicked out, you're going to look inside of every room and you're going to be like, wow, there are some people that lost their way. And I'm not saying that every single person has, and that's why they wound up there. But when you think about your life, you know, did you take care of yourself? Did you have a kick-ass life before that happened? Because life is going like that. My son's going to be 3 years old next month. Thanks to Facebook, I keep getting these pop-ups saying, oh, here's your life 2 years ago. Here's your life 5 years ago. And constantly I'm going back to my wife and my friends going, wow, my dog died 6 years ago. My mom died 8 years ago. My cat died 4 years ago. And it's like that. I'm going to be 51 in February. Just a minute ago, I was 40. Just a minute ago, I was 27. So I'm working to turn back the clock so that I can enjoy my years and I can get more accomplished than I did in the first half. I'm calling this the second half as I turn 50. So I'm speaking to you guys out there too. You know, are you 50? Are you 40? Are you sitting there thinking it's too late? It's never too late. Technology and health and everything else, if you stop the shit you're doing right now, you can turn things around. But it's up to you. I'm talking to you. Boom, boom, boom. You feel that? Yeah. Poke it on your shoulder. You know, if you continue to do what you've always done, you're going to continue to get what you've always got. So you have to think about this. Another exercise I have people do as part of my coaching program, but I'll give it to you, is realistically, if you had 7 days to live, 7 weeks to live, or 7 months to live, it's called the 777 exercise. List out what you would do if you had 7 weeks to live. List out what you would do if you had 7 months to live. List out what would you do if you had 7 days to live, right? Maybe something in there is going to find your purpose and your passion. Maybe it's your purpose is to reconnect with family. And maybe your purpose is that you don't want other people to die without reconnecting with their family. So you become a reconnector. I don't even know if that fucking exists, right? So think about what you would do. Maybe it's all traveling. So maybe you want to do something with traveling. I found out that there's somebody on Instagram, I'm sure there's a bunch of people, but they get paid just to go on vacation and take pictures. Just pictures. They take beautiful pictures. The reason why I know about it is a friend of mine who's learning how to fly a drone found out about them, and they got their drones licensed so that they can even take more pictures, but they get paid to travel because they love to travel. So there are niches out there that can really inspire you and create an income and create a lifestyle that you deserve. But you have to find that purpose for yourself. You can't let other people tell you and drive what your purpose is. If you're a parent right now, your fucking purpose better be the best goddamn parent you can be. Now that's something that pisses me off. When people don't take care of themselves, or they don't take the time to grow their kids and invest in their kids and read to them and play with them and give them hugs and love, that pisses me off. If you're a parent, your purpose should be your kids. Your purpose should be setting an example for your kids that they can look up to, not something that they have to avoid like me. The reason why I'm successful is I looked at my mom and I said, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. And I'm not going to do that. And then I read a bunch of books and I went to school and got a master's degree in organizational management. And I've read personal development books up the ass. I've had coaches. I've been in masterminds. I did not want to wind up like my mom. Now, my mom had some great qualities, her tenacity, her sarcasm. I call it a quality. So I did take some of those things, but I had to work really, really hard to become a loving, open, fair, open-minded individual, because if I would have stayed and been like my mom, I'd be a miserable fuck. And not to say that she was miserable, but the truth be told, when she died, there wasn't too many people that were worried about it. And when I die, I want people to celebrate and be like, yeah, man, he fucking changed our lives. He impacted us. He was fun. You know, he was original. He was authentic. He was a great dad. He was a great person. He made me laugh. He made me think, you know, things like that. So every day I try to make that impact on the world, even if I feel like shit. If you watched my podcast a couple of weeks ago, I was tired. It's not one of my best podcasts, but it was good for me to see because I was like, wow, I needed to get more sleep. So what did I do? If I need better sleep, I need to track my sleep. You can't just go, well, I mean, you can wake up and go, I feel better. But so I bought an Oura Ring. So it's basically a sleep device that will give me statistics every morning when I wake up that tells me how my sleep was. So if I'm only getting 5 or 6 hours sleep, then I wake up and it says, oh, your score is like 60. So I'm at 60% for the day ahead. But if I get an extra hour sleep, or if I don't drink alcohol, or if I don't have sugar, then maybe I get 80% or 90%. So then just how much more impactful am I going to be? How much more alive am I going to be? How much more clarity am I going to have to give you guys the information that you guys need? So again, I invest in those things. They're not cheap. I make sacrifices, but that's the goal, is to constantly push myself and to grow myself to fulfill my purpose of educating you. Another thing you could do is just simply look online. I'm sure there's dozens of, I didn't check this out, but I'm sure there's dozens of tests out there. What's my purpose? And you answer a bunch of questions and it tells you, hey, you should be a photographer. Hey, you should be an article writer, whatever it might be. Those are the things you have to do. And my last suggestion for you is to just journal. You know, get in the habit, no matter what you're doing, journal, write out your thoughts, type out your thoughts. I use a digital voice recorder. Get your thoughts out and see what patterns and what consistencies you have. And that's what you can work on. Maybe you're somebody who has struggled with your weight all your life, and now you're just pissed off and you're like, you know what? I'm going to lose this weight, and then I'm going to go out there and teach other people how to do it too. That's my mission. I don't want people dying from obesity. I don't want people getting diabetes. You know, whatever it is for you, you have to know your purpose, and you have to be able to articulate that pretty quickly every single day of your life so that you're on mission. Otherwise, you're just existing. And trust me, ladies and gentlemen, you will look in the mirror one day and you'll have more bags and you'll have more shit and you'll be like, wow, I could have been, I should have been, but now it's too late. But it's never too late, right? No matter where you're at in life. So hit me up, Christopher@ChristopherRausch.com, RAUSCH, Christopher@ChristopherRausch.com. I'll give you a free discovery call, 45 minutes. We could talk about what it is that's going on in your life. Do you want to make 2020 your bitch? Do you want to make 2020 a year where you look back on and go, wow, I broke through some barriers. I stopped giving myself excuses and started giving myself opportunities. Is that you? Last year, I was fed up. I said 2019 will not be a repeat of the last 3 years. And tell you what, it hasn't. I did the 75 hard. I launched my podcast. I had back surgery. I'm launching the group coaching program. I worked with 2 coaches. I'm in great shape because I got off my ass and I got serious about my purpose. So I want you guys to get serious about your purpose. So hit me up. That's why I'm here. All right. Make sure you're in the Raw and Unscripted Facebook group page. Make sure you're subscribed to my YouTube channel, Christopher Rausch. I think it's YouTube, The Christopher Rausch. I'm doing videos there about 75 hard, giving you daily nuggets, doing more there. If you're listening to this podcast on iTunes or Stitcher, I do a video podcast and we promote it every Tuesday night at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time through the Speaking to the Heart podcast network. Thank you very much, Shane Schultz. And we're there for you. So if you like to watch videos, we're there for you. So I'll leave you with that, but know your purpose and articulate it and be kick-ass unstoppable, ladies and gentlemen, because life is yours, not anybody else's. Your life, your choices, no one else's. Any questions? All right. We'll see you next time. I love you guys. Stay kick-ass unstoppable. Peace.